Let's come to mountain pose. Big toes together, ankles slightly apart, shoulders back and down, nice tall posture. And let's begin to concentrate on our breathing. Deep breaths in and out, grounding into our feet. If this foot posture is uncomfortable, feel free to spread your feet out a few inches apart. Begin to let go of any vision that you have of yourself, any preconceived notions of what other people think of you, any preconceived notions of how this session is going to go for you, how tight your hamstrings are, how flexible you may be, how strong you may be. Let it all go. Today's lesson is simply to be where you are in this moment, and that is perfectly good enough. Continue to take deep breaths in and out. Focus your intention. Focus your mind. Start building the energy you need to work through these postures. Get in touch with your body. Know where your aches and pains are. Know where your energy's at. Today's lesson is going to open up your energy centers, ground you, push you, motivate you. Focus on that intention. As your mind starts to calm and your body gears yourself towards this workout, find yourself grounded, mentally, physically, emotionally ready. From here, let's begin. Come to the front of your mat, back into the same mountain pose. And then we're going to bring our hands to our hearts. And when ready, I want you to reach up and a slight bend in your back, grounding your feet into the ground, and dive forward into forward fold. Just allowing your hands to drop down to your feet. Bend halfway back up, look forward, fall back over. And roll up slightly, vertebra by vertebra, into a nice tall posture, rolling your shoulders back and down. And repeat, hands to heart. Reaching up and back, and then diving over. Breathe in as you come halfway up. Breathe out as you forward fold back over. And take a slow, deep breath as you roll back up. And breathe out as you roll your shoulders back and down. One more time. Hands together, reach up and back. And dive all the way back down. Deep breath in, halfway up. Deep breath out, down. Breathe in, roll up, one by one. And breathe out as your shoulders roll back and down. We're going to do a standing cat-cow. So you're going to reach your hands back behind you, opening the chest, and then reverse it. Reach as far forward as you can, bending your neck and extending your spine. Back out. One more time, reaching forward. Reach as far as you can. Open up that back. And then as you reach back this time, reach back and then bring your hands up above you and back down into prayer in front of your heart. Step back. We're going to come down into a low lunge. Set that right knee down. Hands to heart. And reach up. However you need to put your arms. Just open yourself up. Extend through the core. Bring your hands back down into prayer and bring your right elbow to the outside of the left knee and do a nice twist, gazing out over your left elbow. Back to center. You're going to push yourself back toward your foot, extending, straightening that front leg into a nice hamstring stretch. And you can place your hands wherever you need, on the floor, on your thigh. You can reach towards your feet or towards your foot in front of you. And just to get it warmed up. And when you're ready, you're going to push forward onto that left foot and back into a standing position. Alright. Hands to heart, reach up and back. Dive back down. Forward fold. Breathe in, halfway up. Breathe out as you step back with your left foot into a low lunge. Hands to heart. Reach up and back, opening the core, opening the hip flexors. Expanding your chest open. Come to center, take the left elbow outside the right knee and twist out, looking over your right elbow. Couple breaths, and then come back to center. Sit back towards your back foot, extend that front leg to a hamstring stretch. Place your hands wherever you need to. And when you're ready, rock back up onto that right foot and bring yourself back up. Do a forward fold and roll yourself all the way to standing. Alright, reset yourself for a moment. Bring your hands back into prayer. Reach up and back. Then I'll have you reach all the way back down, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway up. Breathe out. You're going to step back again with your left foot. This time into Warrior One. The left toes are pointed towards the side of the mat. Hands in prayer. It's a pose for strength. Grounding into both feet. Reach up above you. Building strength and power by opening yourself up to the universe above you. Holding arms open. Accepting who you are right now in this moment as a spiritual being. Unite it with everybody else. Repeat in your mind, I am a being of light. I am a being of movement. I am a being of free will. Create strength with your focus, stability with your breath. Ground into both feet. If you want to extend that pose into a reverse warrior, you're perfectly fine to do that. Breathe. Take a deep breath in. When you're ready, push yourself forward and make your way into a forward fold. Breathe out into forward fold. Deep breath in, halfway up. Breath out, reach that right foot back, toes pointed to the outside of the mat. Hands to the heart. And when you're ready, reach up to the heavens. grounding into both feet. Build strength and power by opening yourself, letting all that energy come into you, come into your heart. Repeat in your mind, I am a being of light, a being of movement, a being of free will. Create your strength in your focus, stability with your breath, and then ground into your feet. If you'd like to go ahead and extend into reverse warrior, you can. Continue to breathe. Alright, breath in and pull yourself forward into a forward fold. Halfway up, forward fold, breath out, and then breathe in, roll yourself all the way back up. Alright, reset yourself. Let's step back again with your left foot, this time into a high or a low lunge. You're going to place your left hand on the ground or your left elbow on the outside of your right knee and reach your right arm towards the sky into a revolved lunge. Make yourself comfortable. Don't overstress your pose. Trying to move your spine in different directions. Alright, rotate out to the side of your mat, hands in prayer, into a wide leg forward fold. Take a couple deep breaths and then rotate to the back side of your mat into an opposing lunge. So high lunge or low lunge, hands to prayer to ground yourself, and then reach that right hand down to the ground or right elbow to the outside of your knee. Reach the left hand up to the sky, revolving your lunge. Just take a few nice deep breaths here. Alright, come back to center whenever you feel like you are tiring out. Rotate yourself back to the side of the mat, hands in prayer, wide stance, forward fold. You're going to reach down to the floor, support yourself with your fingertips, and walk your feet in slightly wider than your shoulders. Put your hands in prayer, elbows on the inside of the knees, and drop your hips down into a yoga squat. If this is uncomfortable, you are free to grab bolsters to sit underneath you to raise your hips up. We're trying just to open up the hips a little bit, the inner groin, the lower core. If you have a low chair that you want to sit on, that's fine too. And if all of that is too difficult, then just come into a standing position like we did at the very beginning of the practice. Don't push yourself. This should feel like a relief on the low back. As you rest in this posture, just bring your awareness to your current emotions. Maybe you've had a couple emotions already during the practice. How do you feel so far? If you are feeling an emotion that you don't like or you don't want, then bring compassion back into yourself, into your heart. Be fine where you are. And repeat after me in your mind or outwardly. I am a perfect being tomorrow. I was a perfect being yesterday, so I am a perfect being in this moment. We are perfect. We are the exact way that we should be as a spiritual being in a human body. Just breathe. Continue bringing awareness to your emotions. When you're ready, set your hands down and slowly push your hips up towards the sky. Bring your feet in just slightly to a nice forward fold. Take your pointer and your middle finger, wrap them underneath your big toe, and pull yourself into a forward fold a little bit deeper by extending your elbows outward. If you can't reach your feet, that is perfectly fine. Find a place either on your shins, your thighs, the back of your hamstrings, or even just grab your elbows and hang in that forward fold. Make sure you're bending at the hips, not your spine. With each breath, breathe deep into your belly, expanding your lower back, allowing your spine to lengthen and grow. Continue to breathe, continue to hang out. Perfect time for self-reflection, checking in. When you're ready, start to roll vertebra by vertebra up into a nice tall standing posture, rolling your shoulders back and down. And bring your feet in a little bit. We're going to start rocking our weight from one foot to another while we bring the ankle up of the opposite foot. So we're getting into a balancing tree pose. So make sure you're really putting that pressure from one foot to another, getting used to what it feels like to just be standing on one foot. And when you are ready, you're going to bring the bottom of your right foot up to the ankle of your left foot. We're gonna set your legs. Make sure your right leg is pointed out, the knee pointing toward the wall next to you, and then tighten your left quad. Slowly pull that right foot up onto the inside of your shin, or if you want, you can pull it up above the knee. And you can either stand here with your hands in prayer, or you can extend your arms out, balancing one on your knee and the other out to the side. I love this pose. It allows me to pretend like I'm just like a tree. A tree has roots, so it can sway in the wind. The deeper the roots go, the more freedom it has to sway. And it reminds me of growing into a space that I can have for grounding, which is your feet in this posture. Your feet are your roots. Your home is the roots to your life. So the more you ground into your feet in this posture, the more you'll be able to balance yourself if you feel yourself swaying away, falling away from the pose. So be like that tree. Stand firm and grounded. Use your breath. Use it to focus. And when you're ready, you can slide that right foot back down to the ground and kind of rebalance yourself from foot to foot for a second, and then bring the bottom of your left foot onto your right ankle. Make sure that your left knee points out to the side and you tighten your right quad to create a nice grounding force into your leg. Bring that left foot either up onto the inside of your shin or up to the inside of your thigh. And find your arm placement wherever you feel comfortable being balanced at this moment. Just nice, deep, slow breaths. Everything about this posture is about slowing down, focusing on the small movements, building strength in your ankles and your knees, keeping your core strong. Just noticing the slight sways from one spot to the next. When you're ready, you can begin to bring your foot down. Let's come to the back of your mat. Face the back side of your mat. And let's come into a standing mountain pose. Bring your hands up and back. Dive down into forward fold. Take a deep breath in, halfway up. And breathe out. You're going to step back. We're going to go through a few poses here. You're coming into a high plank or a modified plank with your knees on the ground. And then you're going to drop your body to the ground, elbows to your side. Release. And then slowly push your chest up off the ground, leaving your legs planted to the floor. Gaze forward, open your chest to the space in front of you, and then push yourself back into child's pose, sitting down onto your heels. And we're going to repeat this again, get our body moving for our next few poses. So, plank to lower down into chaturanga, push up into cobra, and then back into child's pose. You can challenge yourself on this next one, come into a full plank, down into chaturanga, release, push yourself up into cobra, and if you can, lift your top of your thighs off the ground into upward facing dog. It's a nice core opener. Now, release your knees down and then push your hips to the sky. We're basically coming into a downward facing dog. I don't want you to worry about having to straighten out your hamstrings, so walk them out. Get the hamstrings a little bit more loosened up. A nice straight line from your hips all the way down to your hands. Pressure into your fingertips. Deep breath in. And come down to your knees. We're going to in tabletop now. Reach your left foot back and your right arm forward. We're going to balance the tabletop. Do 3 deep breaths into your core. Starting to warm up that core now. And then come back down into all fours. Push back in the child's pose. And then let's repeat that. We're going to come up into plank, down into chaturanga, up into upward facing dog, lifting the thighs off the ground if you can. Curl toes under and push back into downward facing dog. Try to straighten your knees out just a little bit more this time. Down into tabletop. Right foot out, left arm forward. 3 deep breaths in and out. Tightening your core in. Creating strength and warmth. Alright, all fours. Back down into child's pose. Back to all fours. Put your left hand slightly further up, and then you're going to reach back with your right hand and then weave it in the opposite direction through your left arm, pushing back, extending that side, creating a twist in your upper back, threading the needle. Take a few nice deep breaths. Breathe in, come back out. Right hand a little bit further up. Left hand reach back. Breathe out as you push back with that right hand, twisting, threading the needle. Breathe. Deep breaths in and out. Enjoy this twist. Come back to your hands and feet, and we're just going to lower yourself all the way back down to the ground. We're going to do a cobra, but we're going to keep our forearms on the ground, and we're going to use the pressure of our forearms and hands to pull ourselves forward. So opening that chest to the space in front of you, opening the core, breathing into the heart center, building energy, creating openness in that heart. Slow your breath down. If you want to deepen the stretch in the hip flexors and the core, then alternate your hamstrings curled, or you can curl both hamstrings at the same time. Just brings a little bit of extra flattening to the stomach, opening up the core. Deep breaths. And when you're ready, go ahead and push yourself back into child's pose. We're going to hang out here for just a moment. So get into the pose, get relaxed, using your hands far reached out in front of you, pushing back with the fingertips into a deeper stretch, and really stretching your side body here, allowing your head to dangle down. Just breathe into the pose. Calm your breath again. This is a resting pose. One of my favorite Buddhist quotes is, "If anything is worth doing, it's worth doing with all your heart." So let's retreat into self-motivation, resetting ourselves. Retreat into self-encouragement to finish up this session. Retreat into self-validation, telling ourselves that we know we can do it. I can. Know that each step you make, you have to be mindful of how you treat yourself. So take this moment to be kind to yourself. And breathe. And just focus. Get your mind set for the remainder of this session. Breathe. Build calmness and focus and strength. You're ready? Let's come up onto all fours again. And you're going to pull that right knee forward into half pigeon. So cross that right leg in front of the left. Now you may need to get a bolster or a block to sit on if your hips aren't as flexible, or you may also want to use the block for underneath your hands. Finding hand placement is one of the challenges for this one as well. So I like to use the block and put it in front of me so I can push my upper body up just a little bit more, creating a little bit more core improvement into the posture. So find your space. This is half pigeon. Take a few deep breaths, keeping your chest open to the space in front of you, your shoulders rolled out, opening that heart up. All about heart and hips. And if you want to deepen into the hips, go ahead and come into sleeping pigeon. So allow your upper body to lay down onto the ground, deepening into the hip stretch. Enjoy an extra moment of relaxation. Breathe in, push yourself back up. Balance onto your hands and arms, and then push up and switch sides. Bring your left foot forward, cross it over your right, and then find your position. Use whatever bolstering you need, making sure that your chest stays wide and open, shoulders rolled out, core nice and strong. Breathe deeply. Bring heat into the core, heat into the heart, building that energy. If you want to deepen that stretch, you can come back into sleeping pigeon by lowering your upper body back onto the floor. You can have your bolster underneath you as well for extra support. Indulge in this little rest if you're in sleeping pigeon. Let go of that tension with each breath in the hips. Just breathe, direct your breath all the way into those hips. Every time you breathe out, allow your hip to release just a little bit more. Begin to push yourself back up. Place your bolsters to the side, and let's come back up into plank, and then relax back down onto all fours, pushing ourselves back into a seated cross-legged position. This is easy pose or Sukhasana. If you have a problem sitting cross-legged, you can either bolster yourself with a blanket like I am, or if you still have a problem after doing that, simply sit on the ground and put your feet flat on the floor in front of you with your knees up against your chest. We're just going to sit here and we are going to take a moment to reconnect. Let's concentrate on our breath now. We're in the home stretch. So let's take a nice deep breath in and a sigh out. Let's recenter. Bring your focus to breathing in and out. Follow your breath with your mind. Slow your breath down, one step at a time. If your heart's racing from the activity, then use your breath to slow it down. Deep breaths. Bring ease to your mind. Slowly, let's come to laying on our backs. So scoot down on the mat if you need to. And you lay onto your mat, feet flat on the floor, knees up, arms on the floor beside you, hands, palms down. Alright, we're going to extend our right leg up. Reach that heel to the ceiling above you, keeping your lower back flat on the ground with a tight core. If you need to lower your heel down a little bit at an angle to make sure your leg is straight and get that good stretch, perfectly fine. And let's pull your knee into your chest. Set your foot back down on the floor. And then repeat with your left leg, sending your left heel to the ceiling or whatever angle you need to be able to have that leg straight. Keeping your lower back flat on the floor by pulling your core in. And then bring your knee back in. Tuck it in. Place it back down. And from here, we're going to go into a bridge. So, pressures into the bottom of your feet, pressing into the ground, grounding in, and push your hips up, creating a straight line from your neck all the way up to your knees. Hands flat on the ground, or you can interlace them underneath your core. You're squeezing those glutes, keeping your core tight. You're activating it by pulling it in and up into the ribs. And let's make some noisy breaths while you're in this. So close your airflow just a little bit to breathe heavier. So it's going to sound like Okay, so lower back down and then push yourself back up and continue with that breathing style. You're breathing heat into your vocal cords, opening up that energy center, getting blood to flow down into that space. All right, let's come back to normal breathing. Drop your hips back down to the ground. We're going to make sure we have room on the mat because we're going to come into a half shoulder stand. So bring your knees into your chest, oppose that stretch from the bridge, scoot down if you need to, and then we are going to bring your knees back into your chest by holding the back of your hamstrings or back of the calves. You're going to extend those feet up. So this is the posture you're going to stay in if you can't do the half shoulder stand, and that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, it's just a preparation. So we're going to lower down, get some momentum, and then we're going to push our entire lower body up. Keep your knees bent at first to place your hands on your sacrum, grounding down into your elbows. And when you're ready, you can extend those feet up. If that's too hard, feel free to keep your knees bent in this posture. Or again, if you can't do this, that's perfectly fine. You're going to be laying with your both legs extended up, supporting them with your hands on the back of your hamstrings. I enjoy keeping my knees down for a little bit in this posture so I can get the blood flow where it needs to be, and I can slowly walk my hands up a little bit more and pushing my hips a little bit higher and extending into a better shoulder stand. If you're very talented and want to go into a full shoulder stand, you're perfectly fine to do that. I am going to stay here in a modified half shoulder stand because I'm just not that talented yet. It's all about baby steps. These are hard poses. Being inverted like this is great for any kind of sinus pressure, for your lymphatic drainage, which helps boost your immune system. It helps process all that gunk that you build up in your system. All right, when you're ready, I'm going to slowly roll back down, and let's come back into the extended leg posture like we began. Take a few extra deep breaths and lower your feet to the ground. All right, let's cross your right leg over your left knee. You're going to pull your hamstring in by reaching through your legs. You can either pull on your hamstring, you can pull on the front of your knee, and after a minute, if this stretch seems simple, you're going to reach down towards the bottom of your left foot, and you're going to pull just a little bit deeper into that stretch. Make sure both feet are flexed at this point. Keep your knees nice in a healthy alignment. Set that left foot down. You're going to reach across with your left hand and pull your legs into a nice twist. Right arm out to your side, gazing over your right hand. You're twisting in every direction with your spine right now. We're cooling down now, so deep breaths. Use your breath to focus your heart rate, slowing down in little increments. Let go of that knee, come back to center, put your right foot down and cross your left leg over your right knee. Keep those feet flexed. Weave your arms through your legs and pull your legs into your chest. If you want to reach for your right foot, you're perfectly fine to do that. There's a nice quad stretch with the opposing hip stretch. Couple nice final deep breaths in this posture. And at the end of those breaths, set that right foot down. You're going to reach the right hand across to the left knee, pulling your legs into a nice spinal twist. And you're going to reach your left arm out, gazing over your left hand. Full spinal twist in all directions. We're coming into rest. Your heart rate should be down. You should be feeling a little bit of relief because we're coming to the end of this perfectly challenging routine. You should be proud of yourself. All right, come back to center, put that foot to the ground, and just slowly reach your ankles out into Savasana, corpse pose. It's a lovely pose to just unwind. Allow your feet to fall out, palms facing up, shoulders rolled back, chest open, core open, neck elongated. Enjoy being in this posture. Enjoy being done. Enjoy being within yourself, bringing awareness to yourself throughout the whole time. No matter how challenging or easy this session was for you, it was a perfect session for a perfect being in the perfect timing. Be proud of yourself for any path that you take to bettering your health, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Find yourself drifting away, focusing on your breath. Find yourself relaxing into the ground below you, knowing that the ground will support you in all your endeavors. You can always return to this pose anytime you need to. And just concentrate on your breath. When you're ready, slowly roll to your side. Bring yourself into a comfortable seated position. Check in with your body one more time. See what feels tight still, loosened up, worked out. Bring your awareness to the space around you, the air that you feel on your skin, the sounds that you hear in the room, the light that's shining through windows. Thank everybody for joining me today. Namaste.